Liberty displaces Notre Dame. Iowa and Oklahoma State get moved up into the CFP. These are the type of situations we could be in store for with an expanded college football playoff. Welcome to the Voice of College Football, discussion, debate, and analysis with you each and every day. Please join us and subscribe and like the video. Our Voice of College Football show, the college football show, comes your way every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day during the week, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We checked out the 2024 CFP scenarios as they apply to the proposed 14 and 16 team fields with minimum requirements for each conference: 4 for the SEC, 4 for the Big Ten, 2 for the ACC, and 2 for the Big 12. Forget the seedings mix-up that we just looked at here in 2024, the first 12-team playoff in which Arizona State, Boise State were elevated into buys as 3 and 4 seeds. We're ranking them 1 through 16 according to what the College Football Playoff Committee gave us as we look at 2023. These are the matchups and these are the rankings. Let's get it. Michigan, the eventual national champion and number 1 team in the country, of course, would still be number 1 with Washington 2, Texas 3, and Bama 4. Your conference champions, Michigan, Washington, Bama out of the SEC with an upset of Georgia in the championship game. Florida State, the ACC champion. Georgia at 6, Ohio State at 7. Oregon lost the Pac-12 championship game. Missouri at 9, Penn State at 10, Ole Miss 11, Oklahoma 12, LSU 13, Arizona at 14, Louisville 15, Notre Dame at 16. However, we've got a couple group of 5s waiting in the wings to displace Notre Dame. Of course, we've got to have a group of 5. And so Liberty elevated from number 23 at 13-0. That's not my call because I would have gone with SMU, who lost 2 games, but both of those were to power conference opponents. They played a much tougher schedule. SMU should have been in the playoff over Liberty. But if we take the 16-team field and the college football playoff rankings for 23, it's Liberty is the 16 seed. We see that while LSU, Arizona, and Notre Dame would have made the playoff at 9 and 3, or at least Notre Dame would have been in the top 16 in the country, Iowa's right there at 10 and 3 after a Big Ten championship game loss to Michigan 26-0, and NC State also had a gripe at 9 and 3 out of the ACC. The SEC that played in 2023 would have had 5 teams in the playoffs. Now the SEC plus Oklahoma and Texas, who would have both made it in 2023, would have 7 teams from the new SEC. The Big Ten with only 3. So the proposal is that both the SEC and the Big Ten get 4 bids minimum. So that would usher Iowa from number 17 in the country all the way up to make the field. Or if you look at the current Big Ten with Oregon and Washington making the field, you've got 5 from the Big Ten. So Iowa, you're out. The ACC gets 2 bids regardless of whether it's the new ACC or the old ACC. The Big 12 with 2 bids in 2023, Texas, Oklahoma. That goes down to 1 because you lose the Longhorns and the Sooners, but the Big 12 would gain the entry of number 20 Oklahoma State. So the conference champion or would-be conference champion, the Cowboys at number 20, outside the top 16, jettison all the way up to the rankings. And of course, Arizona's a new team to the Big 12. And if you take their Pac-12 showing in 2023 at 9 and 3, they would be in the playoffs as well. The Pac-12, of course, is defunct now, but would have had 3 teams in 2023. On to the matchups, and we all would have loved to have seen Michigan take on Notre Dame, a 1-16 matchup per the rankings. However, of course, Notre Dame gets knocked out by Liberty, so now it's suddenly Michigan and Liberty. Okay, Washington, Louisville, we just saw them play in the Sun Bowl. Texas and Arizona, 3-14 matchup, as Texas leaves the Big 12 and Arizona joins the Big 12. Then we've got, unfortunately, 3 rematches to deal with, so we don't know if maybe there's going to be some kind of stipulation going forward that we try to avoid rematches. Bama and LSU, the 4-13 game, that's a rematch. Georgia, Ole Miss, a rematch of a blowout by the Bulldogs, 52-17. Ohio State and Penn State, a rematch, 7-10 game. And then a nice matchup in the 8-9 slot with Oregon and Mizzou. If you love these kind of breakdowns, you will love this book, College Football Junkies and Nerds. This is for you, Disputed National Champions. The link's in the description section down below. Keep in mind, that's the 16-team field. If we went to 14, which is being bandied about, there would be 2 byes, and those 2 byes would go to Michigan and Washington in 2023. 2 of the 3 undefeated teams, and again, Florida State gets screwed, as they did in the 14 field, and Florida State at the 5 position in 2023. Your comments and questions down below. Keep in mind, we're going to run through all the college football playoff era to see what it would look like projected to 14 and 16 teams. But also keep in mind that we're working on a playoff proposal of our own, because we really need to deal with conference championships and seedings and how many teams should get in, and should there be minimum requirements of number of bids from each conference. All of that we'll take a look at in the next few weeks right here at the Voice of College Football.